T-Rex versus Triceratops? Or is it Triceratops versus T-Rex? Hey everyone, Mike here with Prehistoric Magazine. Welcome back to another video. Now, in Prehistoric Planet, we saw, or better yet, we saw the aftermath of that. The old bull T-Rex had just taken down a Triceratops. Lifts itself from the foliage. It's a spectacular scene, spectacular realism, and I guess I'm wondering to you all, who would have won and who had the advantage, and do we even think that we can answer that question? Now, again, in Prehistoric Planet, we see that the Rex has already taken down a Triceratops, so we don't get to see the actual takedown. Obviously, we assume it took it down. Now, in reality, who knows? Maybe, if Prehistoric Planet even wanted to be more realistic, maybe they just would have shown the Rex scavenging on the Triceratops. Maybe it succumbed to disease. Who knows? Maybe it broke its leg. We don't know. Obviously, David Attenborough says this old bull has just taken down a Triceratops. Now, flash forward to Walking with Dinosaurs 2025, and we see Clover running through the jungle at night, and it runs into one of the adult Triceratops, and it meets up with the Rex. Now, I really think, if we're being truthful about this, that both of these combatants are fairly evenly matched. I'm going to say, from my own standpoint, I think it's 50-50 who could have won in a battle. Again, you know what I'm going to say. If you're watching, I really want to hear your response down in the comment section. Really want to hear from you, because again, I think with a lot of these prehistoric topics, at least for myself, I do not like to definitively say one way or the other either way, because it's just so hard. We just don't know. Now, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to say that both of these animals are just about the same size. There seems to be some evidence that Triceratops could have reached upwards of 10 tons. Obviously, we're learning from T-Rex that the animal probably got bigger than we think. We used to think about 6 tons, maybe 20, 30 years ago. Now we're thinking upwards of 12, maybe even 13 tons. So I do respect what Walking with Dinosaurs 2025 did with the Rex's weight, which is they put it at over 8 tons. So are we assuming it's 8.5 tons, maybe close to 9 tons? I'm pretty comfortable with that number. I like that number. They didn't say a 12-ton monstrous Rex, because let's face it, not all Rexes were going to be 12 tons. I weigh 180 pounds, plenty of people bigger than me. Plenty of people smaller than me too. So again, they didn't choose the biggest Rex that's ever existed. So for all intents and purposes, T-Rex versus Triceratops, I think they're very evenly matched on size, 8-9 tons. They're both giant animals, and if you're looking at Triceratops, it's got those 4-foot-long horns. It's got the frill that's possibly 6 feet wide. It's just a tank of an animal, as close to a living tank as we've ever gotten, I believe. Now you go over to T-Rex, it's got those monstrous jaws, the teeth. The head alone was over 5 feet in length. I think it's a great, I write novels, so a lot of times I like to say, the creature had a bathtub-sized head, that really, Stephen King likes to say that you don't want to say 4 foot 5 inches and 3 feet tall. You just want to give examples. And I think it's great. I love that analogy that T-Rex had a bathtub-sized head. It's got that bathtub-sized head perched atop a body that's 13, 14 feet tall, 40 feet in length, 8-9 tons. There's been nothing that's ever lived like it. And again, as we stand right now, I don't think there's a bigger predatory dinosaur than T-Rex. I'd love to see one be found. No doubt it would be exciting. And I do believe that there are some animals that come close to it. But it looks like Rex has the advantage as of right now. So again, I really like what Walking with Dinosaurs did with the over 8-ton weight. So it's not a 10-ton, 11-ton monster, but it's a very large animal, closing in on 9 tons. I think that both of these animals are so evenly matched, I cannot honestly say who would have won. I think it's a coin toss. Maybe if a Triceratops was injured, it may have had the advantage. T-Rex may have had the advantage. Now, maybe, I really do like what Prehistoric Planet did, which is right off the bat, they had the Triceratops just gore, almost like a bull, kind of gore the side of the big leg of the Rex, so it injured it automatically. But again, do I think that that injury would have taken down Rex in that moment? No. I think the animal was just too big and it would have continued to fight. Now, who knows over time? We saw that in Prehistoric Planet, which is, it had wounds almost right on the lower leg, right on the thigh right there. So it was almost the same in Prehistoric Planet. Now, who knows if those wounds could be infected? That's why, like David Attenborough said, it washed it with the river water, clean those wounds out, hopefully disinfected. But nonetheless, I think both of these animals are just complete tanks. They're nearly the same size. It's anyone's give or take which one would have been bigger. Obviously, if you have an 11 or 12 ton Rex and there's a 8 or 9 ton Triceratops, then that Rex has the size advantage. But I think if you're just flipping a coin, both of these animals are the same size. Now, the question is, would Rex have gone for baby Triceratops, juveniles? Obviously, I think 100%, why wouldn't you, if you have a bathtub-sized head, go after smaller prey? There's no doubt if something's easier, in the business world, they call it low-hanging fruit. I wish I could earn some low-hanging fruit on this channel. It's another topic. But nonetheless, low-hanging fruit would have been juvenile Triceratops. Why not go for smaller prey? Why not go for animals that you could literally almost swallow in those giant jaws of yours? Now, again, if a T-Rex is that emboldened to go for a full-size Triceratops, I'm really wanting to hear from you on this. Who has the advantage? Again, Walking with Dinosaurs pegged them at roughly the same size. Who has the advantage? Can we even say? For myself, I'm going right down the middle and saying that it's 50-50. Depending on the day, it's like a football game. Anybody can beat anybody on any given Sunday. It's just one battle, just one game. Anybody can beat anybody. So that's where I stand on it. Really would love to hear from you down in the comment section down below. I also really enjoyed this scene because it wasn't in a wide open plains like a lot of times we see T-Rex and Triceratops portrayed. We see them in wide open fields, grass fields. This was in the jungle, dark, foliage crowding out the light. I like that. That's what I like to write in my prehistoric thriller novels, deep in the jungle where light cannot even penetrate. So I loved the battleground. I paused it many times to take in all the ferns and the lush foliage. I really was digging this fight scene. So love to hear from you. Comment section down below. Who has the advantage, T-Rex or Triceratops? Appreciate the support. See you in the next video. Take care.